Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you. It's on you, it's on you, it's on you.
What's going on, you guys? This is Romi Sunga and Sam Haye, and this is the Mindset Rebooted podcast. How are you doing today, Sam?
I'm doing great, man.
What's that laugh about?
No, because ever since we changed the title, I think that there was like little hiccups along the way, but that was like a perfect.
That was like the smoothest
introduction.
I've been
Yeah, that
able
was
to
the
say
smoothest
Mindset
one.
Rebooted
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, it means that you now it's clicked. Like that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess. Yeah, dude, it flowed pretty swell for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's a long time coming, and it builds up to a point where it's just all right. That's the Mindset Rebooted podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since we are talking about the Mindset Rebooted podcast, why don't you tell the people what is the Mindset Rebooted podcast about? It sounds like a really long name. It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like you can't say Stone Cold. You can't just say Austin. You gotta say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
so it's a mouthful. So for the Mindset Rebooted podcast, for people who've never listened to us before, I'm putting you on the spot. What is this show about?
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Listen, if you're tuned in, first of all, thank you. Mindset Rebooted podcast is exactly what the title says. We're talking about rebooting your mindset. Why? Because a lot of times we grow up with certain mindsets. Maybe it's because of who you grew up around. Well, most of the time it's because of who you grew up around and what you were taught, your certain beliefs that you might have had. And a lot of those things have held you back and have caused you to live your life in a certain way. But on the Mindset Rebooted podcast, we're talking about elevating. We're talking about always improving. We're talking about breaking down those barriers, those obstacles that you've had to face that has caused you to believe that you can't be greater than who you are, that you can't do more than what you've done. And so what we want to do is give you real tactical advice, some tips and tricks, ways to help you actually reframe the way you think so that you can have that lifestyle that you've always dreamed of, that you've thought was only possible for others and not for yourself.
And one of the coolest things that we like to do is that we actually talk about our current life situations.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about advice that we're giving to you, we're actually talking about advice that we're giving ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is not we're perfect and so now let's just pass it down because we're already at the mountaintop. This is hey, we're on this journey. Come join us on this journey because we have strength in numbers. So let's do it together.
Perfect. So with that being said, Sam, would you like to introduce today's topic?
Yeah. So today's topic, we're just going to talk about the grind against yourself. I mean, that needs some clarity. So what does that mean? I mean, oftentimes we find it very hard for us to force ourselves to do what we need to do. Sometimes it's easier when you have someone telling you what to do, when you have a boss telling you what to do. But being in charge of your own life, it means that you have to have accountability and take ownership of your own actions. And a lot of times it means breaking past that feeling of like, oh, I want to take it easy right now. I want to chill. But sometimes you have to push yourself to continue to grind. And that means you have to go against what you currently want, which is, I just want to take it easy. And you have to continue to make yourself do the things necessary so that you can have that ultimate end goal that you've been wanting. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the grind against yourself.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that when I was texting you like, hey, what do you want to talk about? You're like the grind against yourself, and I was like, didn't I just post something about that on my Facebook? And I was like I guess that really resonated with you when you saw that, right?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it all week, not in the exact same words that you obviously posted on Facebook. But yeah, I sent you that screenshot of your post because I was like, wow, like that automatically clicked with me. Like I've been thinking about that this week. You clearly were thinking about it and you wrote it. I was like, that's the perfect thing to talk about.
All right. So is it okay if you kind of share what the grind against yourself is that you were experiencing this week that made you that made this topic just like, all right, we need to talk about this topic?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you haven't listened to my little story in the past, Right now, now that I've transitioned out of the Navy, I'm currently in construction management, and it requires a lot of hours from me. I wake up very early, and a lot of times I don't leave until late. Um, but that's not my ultimate end goal, right? I foresee myself having greater financial freedom. I want to be able to take care of my family. I want to be able to retire my parents. I want to do all of those things that so many of us want to do. And that means that in the little bit of time that I do have to finally take a rest, to finally relax, a lot of times, because I'm not at that point that I want to be at, I have to do those things in my own downtime, so to speak, to help me get to that end goal. And so I've been struggling with that because a lot of times I feel tired. I feel, man, now that I have this time to myself, I just want to just relax. I just want to chill. And so that's what I've been struggling with. But there's been times where I've told myself, no, go ahead and read, you know, whatever pages out of this investment book. I've been reading that Grant Cardone real estate book that Romi lent me, right? I mean, one day I was just reading it. I ended up reading through to like 80 something pages, just going. Yeah, dude,
Yeah, you're feeling
just
it.
going. I was feeling it, right? Because that was like real valuable information. And like sometimes when you're going through a situation where you're tired, sometimes it's hard to push yourself to do any more activity that requires a lot of mental power. Like, and reading requires you to focus, so it might be just easier to just chill, maybe fall back on social media, maybe take a look at Netflix or television or something like that, whatever. I've also had to find myself writing, continue to refine my plans. I've had to have real conversations, you know uh, with family and things like that, certain things that on my own time where I know it's all a part of my plan to continue to have that financial stability and to be able to have that financial freedom. A lot of times I have to force myself to do that stuff, and it can be a struggle. And sometimes it's easier when you have someone else making you do something than when you yourself have to make yourself do it. And so that's what the struggle that I've been facing. I know that was a long-winded struggle, but that was a real world, a real life situation of what I'm going through currently. It's with the time that I have where it's easier to just chill out and just relax. I have to continue to make a decision to do things that are going to continue to move me towards accomplishing that end goal that I've been speaking about. And it's not easy. It sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
yeah.
why do you want to keep grinding then?
Because I mean, if I was to stop now, I'd just be stuck in the same current situation. And if I continue to remind myself of the end goal, I know it's going to take work. And that's right there is the motivation to keep grinding.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you're in the situation like most of us are, you have to just keep reminding yourself of that end goal. And you have to have a real plan laid out. And if you're not chipping away at it on a daily basis, okay, I'm failing, and I'm really failing right now. And so that's when you push yourself to kind of grind and just keep going. That's what
Hmm.
pushes you. You just got to keep reminding yourself of what the end goal is. Can't go about things aimlessly, because then you're just gonna be like, whatever. But once you keep reminding yourself and you have a real plan, then it's like, okay, I can do this. Let's go. And so like right now, I'm just in the stage of my plan where I'm getting smarter. Um, I'm learning. I'm reading those investment books. I'm getting these tutorials. I'm learning from people who have actually done it to kind of cut away um, a lot of the time spent on mistakes, because you don't always have to make certain mistakes. You don't have to learn by your mistakes. You can also learn by the mistakes of others. And that right there will save you that precious time that you want to have to continue to move you towards your end goal.
Yeah. Like what I like to say is, seek wisdom and knowledge. And
Yeah.
I say wisdom first. That's actually one of the core values I have for Realize Your Lifestyle. And I say wisdom because wisdom means that you have real world life experience. Knowledge you could just find from theory, from books, like academic books. But if you don't have the real world practical experience of it, you don't know if that theory is going to work, right?
Agreed.
So like when you're saying, I'm saying you try to sip your coffee.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
That's a funny tangent because I see you being super like sneaky trying to get your coffee, and I like while you're talking, I'm just like taking my mug like normal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, well, it wasn't
Total
because I was trying to be
opposites.
sneaky. I wasn't trying to be sneaky with it. It's just that my wife had brought in some coffee for me, and she sat it behind my MacBook. So I had to reach around, and I was like, all right, let me grab it real quick without spilling it, because I was trying to look at you and pay attention at the same time. And I was like, okay, we can do this.
That reminded me of a little Tom and Jerry esque feel vibe right there. I'm revealing how old mindset we have. But let me get back to what I was saying. So wisdom over theory.
Yeah.
I mean, wisdom over knowledge. Like I always say, if you want to learn something, you gotta find the people who've done it before. You've got to find them, because if you say you listen to someone's experience and they were not successful in something, then I don't really want to listen to you, because you did it, but you didn't do it the way to be successful. I want to listen to someone who's done it. Maybe they had some failures, but they were still able to succeed later on, because
Yeah.
in that ability for them to overcome their obstacles to succeed, that's going to show me the wisdom like that I need to know, so I don't have to make those same mistakes that they've done. Or if I do, I know how to overcome them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But you know what? I wouldn't even be so quick to turn away even the people who just haven't done it. The reason why is, although I'm not going to give that much attention, I'll use that as a learning experience myself. That's, you just taught me how not to do
Yeah, yeah. Like, or
it.
like I tell people a lot nowadays, or I don't tell them, but in my head I say it. I'm like, whatever you just told me is under advisement. Like in my head, like that's under advisement, because like at the end of the day, we're the ones responsible for our lives. We're the
Yeah.
decision makers for our lives. So whatever someone's telling me, whether they've been successful or not successful, it's like under advisement. Okay,
Yeah.
I will review it and go with where I feel that I should go. But yeah, dude, the grind against yourself is really hard. Like that's why I posted it yesterday, because I've been getting up around 9:30 every day in the morning, which is late for me. Usually I'm up by 6. Um, but since I've been my own self employed boss, I haven't. No one's forced me to wake up early or show up at the office by 8 a.m. and be ready to rock and roll. No one's
Yeah.
forcing me to show up on site by 7:30 to be able to brief the people who are working with me that day of the plans and all that other stuff. Like no one's forcing me to go to lunch at a certain time anymore. It's just laissez-faire, right? It's just on me. And so the grind that I kept talking about for myself was the grind of fighting against myself to get back to being disciplined, fighting against
Yeah.
myself to get back to getting shit done. Because like
Yeah.
like I could feel good, like, oh yeah, I wrote out these letters, the addresses on these letters for my customers to say thank you and appreciate them. But like, did I actually write out the letters yet? No, I just wrote out the addresses. Or maybe I did the addresses and I wrote out the letters, but they never have gotten sent yet. I didn't buy the fucking postage stamps to send them out. So at the end of the day, for my company, did I accomplish anything today that would help my company yet? And I was like, fuck. With discipline, the answer is no, because I haven't been
Right.
able to connect with my customers yet. That's the whole point of this stuff, right? And so it was one of those things like, all right, I'm doing stuff, but am I really doing stuff that will help me?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And that's the key thing. I'm doing stuff, but am I doing stuff that will help me? And that's really how you help prioritize things. Like, because a lot of times we question how much time we have in a day, but it's like, with the time that you have, what are you doing that's actually furthering your agenda? Because if you are able to filter out all the other stuff, you'll find like, oh wow, I can actually do way more than what I thought uh originally, and I'm with you there, like the getting back to being disciplined, and I think that was one of the reasons why I was super successful in the military is because, I was forced to do certain things, but then I started to pick up to where I was like, you know what, now I'm just doing this on my own. Now that I'm a civilian again, I need to get back to like all right, like get back in that habit of like just doing things, because I'm a firm believer that not every success is just because someone is just so talented. Like hard work really means something.
Yeah.
Like legitimately the willingness, the effort, just you can accomplish so much in life just off of effort. Just effort alone will get you through. Like there's so many people who are talented and they're doing nothing with their talent, right? I myself included, and they literally are not as far as they could be. And then you have other people who they're okay, whatever. Maybe they're great, maybe they're not, but their effort is great.
Yeah.
And it's pushed them to be great.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
go
I'm sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's what's super encouraging is the effort.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, I got excited because yes, talent will will make it easier for you to start, right? We all know that if you have a natural inclination to want to sing out loud, then it's gonna be easier for you to go up to that microphone and sing compared to someone who's shy or introverted, maybe, you know. And like that's and reflecting that on me with my brand, Realize Your Lifestyle. My talent is that I'm very outspoken. I'm very loud. People, for some reason, like to watch what I say, what I do. And so I have a following. So the talent I had is like, yeah, hey, here's my new brand. Support it, buy it. Okay, I got the blip. The very first weekend, I got the blip, right? And went up.
Mm-hmm.
People were buying. I had a lot of customers. But then after that, sales went down. No sales for 2 weeks. And that's because the talent cannot overshadow or cannot cover what hard work has to be done.
Yeah.
It really can't. Because now I'll get random people buying stuff. Like one person bought 2 shirts yesterday, another one bought 3 shirts at midnight. Like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even talk about it. How are you buying stuff? And it's because of the hard work. It's every day I am doing something. I am posting something that helps resonate with other people about my brand.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I am talking about my brand. Every day I am saying why the brand's important for me. And so that's where the hard work is, because the talent part could be, oh, I'm gonna go on a selfie video, be very charismatic, be very well spoken, have a great backdrop out in the outdoors, and people are gonna enjoy that one video. But that one video was 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yo, and you're hitting the nail right on the head, man. That's, and it made me think, like when you said, oh yeah, the person bought it at like 12 at midnight. I don't know if you were awake or not.
No, I've had people DM me at 2 a.m. Hey, dude, I saw what you're talking about. I love what you're doing, and I want to support you, and I want to see you win. I bought a shirt today. I was like,
bro,
I'm knocked out, bro. But I'm like,
I love that.
That's fucking awesome to wake up to seeing a DM and then like, what? And then like looking at your email like, oh shit, they did buy. Like,
bro, that's awesome. That's actually living the dream. You know why? Because how many of us have said, I would love to make money while I sleep?
Hands up all the time.
I want to make money while I'm sleeping. That's and that's literally doing it. You're literally at the point where, you know, the hard work is laying the foundation for you to be able to realize that lifestyle. And I was gonna say, back to the whole talent and hard work thing. There's even a scripture in the Bible, and if you're not like a person, not you, but I mean, if a listener, if you're not a person who's like religious or spiritual, like I'm just using this as an example, so don't take any offense to this, but there's a scripture in the Bible that says, in all labor, there's profit, but the talk of the lips tends only to penury, meaning nothingness. And that always resonates with me. In all labor, there is a profit. In all labor, there's profit, but the talk of the lips tends to penury or nothing. So we talk about a lot of things, but then the people who are doing it, even if it's just a little bit accomplished today, a little bit accomplished tomorrow, that's still more than what you did when you were just talking about it. They were grinding it out, and that little bit that they were doing, that they were chipping away at, is furthering their agenda. it's pushing them that much closer to realizing your lifestyle. It's eating that elephant one bite at a time. That is the awesome part about effort and the grind against yourself, is that, to be honest, once you do anything, yeah, it hurts. It's kind of like working out. Sometimes it's kind of a bother. But,
I'm showing you on the camera. You can't see it. The bruised
oh,
knuckles. I'm on
oh
a
yeah,
like the effort that you're talking about. I'm on a
yeah.
30-day 100 push-up challenge.
See,
I am on day 23. I've done 110 push-ups, 23 days in a row on my fists. So I've
oh
gotten bruises on my knuckles, but now it doesn't even hurt because every day I just kept doing it. Every day it's
yeah.
just like it's another thing to get done.
And that's the beautiful thing about the grind that I always wanted to tell people, is that the hardest part is starting. That's really the hardest part, starting, because once it becomes your lifestyle, it just is. It just is. It becomes your habit. It becomes your lifestyle, and it just becomes a routine thing for you. Like, it's not even a. I'm not gonna say it's not a struggle, but it's like, yeah, there'll be good days, bad days, whatever. But overall, it'll be a good experience, and it won't even be as bad as when you first started. That's where it's hard. That's because you're just not used to it. You're not conditioned. And
Yeah.
so now you're just going through the strength and conditioning process. You're
Yeah.
getting yourself to that point of, okay, now I'm in it. This is me now, and then you just continue it. It becomes easier. It becomes what you're about. And that's really what the grind against self is. It's, you want your future self to thank your present self. Like, you really want your future self to look back and be like, wow, thank you for that hard put in. Been without you. But your future self could also be at the point where it's still in the same position that it was at. And that would be the part that sucks. When you see no progress, when you see no advancement, when you're still stuck in that same position that you've been in for the past 20 years, that is a horrible feeling. And it starts with just embracing the suck, biting the bullet now, and grinding against yourself now. Just go against yourself. You can be your greatest enemy a lot of times. We tend to blame outside entities a lot. We tend to blame different things that pop up that are not within our control. But what about what is in our control? That's really what you have to focus on. If you just control what you can control, I guarantee you it's going to work wonders. It's just going to. It just absolutely will, because you are pushing and nothing is stopping you from doing all that you can do. And that's the great feeling, is when you take that ownership and you have that accountability and you're like, all right, you know what? Today, I'm going to have a good day because I'm going to have a good day. Today, I'm going to reach this goal because I'm going to reach this goal. It's an empowering feeling when you let nothing outside of you stop you from reaching that. That's an empowering feeling, because then it builds more confidence, and it lets you know, wow, this really is possible. All the different things that I was told when I was younger, how, oh yeah, this is only for rich people. This is only for a certain group of people. This is only something that if you have mommy and daddy, like, nah, this is something that I can do because I have control over my life. That's an amazing feeling. That gives you a reason to wake up every day. That gives you a reason to be grateful. And that gives you a reason to pass it on to others. And that's what excites me now.
Yes, man. Most definitely. And there's this thing though. I want to just warn people. I want to warn people that like grinding is good, but you need to make sure you're grinding for something that's actually productive towards your goal.
Mm,
For example, what's my goals with owning a company? It's to make money, right? If you own a company, your goal is to make money from the company. That also means that you want to help people. Like part of my company is sharing the message of this mindset, right? But at the end of the day, for the company to keep running, I need to make sales. So this is a trap I fell into. I was like, all right, I need to grind 6 hours a day, work on my company, create graphics, talk about it on my Facebook, and then maybe also like update the website so that there's more products there and stuff like that, right? So I was grinding in the sense that I was working on the company, but the goal is I need to make sales to keep the company afloat. Did anything I do in those last 6 hours help me make money? Did it anything make me money? No, it didn't. So that meant I was actually grinding, working hard at something that was not productive for my company. What I ended up doing the next day, I was like, fuck, I didn't make any money and I need to pay bills next week. I was like, I got to text 10 people, tell them to check out my website and tell me what they think. If they like something, buy something. I did that. I messaged 10 people and 4 people bought.
Oh,
So
sweet.
that's where the productivity came in. It's not that I was grinding as in like, oh, I got to work on the website, make it look cool, change these words, work on this newsletter. And then I never even send out a newsletter or work on a graphic that doesn't even get posted today. It gets posted 3 days from now. All of that grind was distracting me from what my immediate need was, which was money. My immediate need was money so I could keep sharing the message. So when you're grinding, you need to always think, is this thing that I'm doing right now, is this an immediate need towards my goal?
Mm.
You know?
That's how you prioritize, really.
Yes.
Go based on what's critical. You got to have a critical path. What's critical, and everything else that's hot but not as hot, you kind of just prioritize it like that. It's actually super interesting because in this world of construction that I'm in, construction management, we do that all the time. Like, I'm learning so much. Like, at first I used to question, like, why is it that I actually jumped into this thing? But like now it's like I'm actually appreciating it a lot more, because one, this could help me in the future with real estate investments, just having a construction knowledge. And two, it's helping me get back to that point of learning how to better manage. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we do that all the time with certain inspections that need to be done at certain stages of construction. And the way we prioritize it is we look at what we call a critical path of what absolutely has to pass inspection and be completed by this week in order for the rest of the project to be successful in a timely manner. And when you order it in that order, you start to realize, okay, although I wanted to do this, this may not be as hot as this item. This item is absolutely essential because I can't even do this thing that I wanted to do until this absolutely happens. So I really need to organize it in that way. And so that requires a level of uh, planning things out. Like, you got to sit down and understand, what is the critical path to your success? What is it? Because that is the only way that you can make things flow in flow properly, really, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. You need to be able to list that critical path, and whatever is immediate, whatever is hot today, get that done. That's like now. And so it reminded me of what you were saying, just because I was like, I get it. Your immediate need was, okay, I have this bill coming up. This has to get paid. I need to do this right now. This is super critical. Hit somebody up. And then you go from there. Everything else is a help. Everything else is vital. This is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just like what you said, the prioritization or critical path. That's what I think a lot of people, me included, we forget about that because we get caught up on the hype. We get caught up in the we need to work, we need to hustle, we need to grind and work all these hours, and we forget that we need to be productive every time we do something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fact. Everybody does. And because it's just a lot going on. It really is a lot to manage. It's so much. I mean, my God, especially if you're by yourself, which is one of the reasons why I recognize, even like looking at you or other friends that I have who are their own bosses, they're entrepreneurs. It's like, it's probably the hardest job. I mean, it's you alone, especially if you're starting out small business. It's you alone. You know, maybe you have a small team, and there's just so much to do. So much to do. How do you figure it all out? How do you manage it all? That's really the question. What do you do? You know, and I think that that's certain things that people should think about um, when they want to uh, become their own boss. Understand that breaking away from a current situation that you have with your job um, it's not always the right time if you don't have the perfect plan in place, or not the perfect plan, but a good plan in place. Because a lot of the people who set out to be entrepreneurs, they fail.
Oh
They
yeah,
fail.
over 50% of people who are set
Or
out to entrepreneurs fail, I believe.
they fail. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's for different reasons, but I can guarantee you, it's just that it's a lot of it also has to do with exactly what we're talking about now. Maybe there's not proper management. Sometimes it's harder. Sometimes when you're your own boss, you can fall into that place of, I just want to take it easy now. Maybe you didn't put in that extra grind.
No,
Maybe you
I
didn't.
bet you it's because they all rely on their talent. Oh,
Mm,
dude, you make good ass food, bro. You should start a restaurant. Fuck yeah, dude. Let me cook that up for you. But they never realize how hard they actually had to grind to run their business. Not to be a cook, not to be a chef or a baker, but to actually run and operate a business.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the reason why now I'm like, you know what? I don't want to jump the gun. Let me just continue to get smarter. Let me get this knowledge. Let me find out from the people who are doing it currently. Let me learn what the methods are. Let me learn,
Yeah.
because you have to have that. Like jumping all in and going all in is what we eventually want you to do. And you should have a time on it. Like, not saying that you should just be like, oh yeah, someday. No, no, like there should be a time, but there's also a time of preparation prior to you doing that. Like, and that is essential. There's a time. Like, don't just jump the gun. There's a time of preparation. Get prepared. You'll learn more as you go, but you need to at least be prepared for that start.
Yeah. And the preparation that we're talking about, like correct me if I'm misinterpreting you, Sam. The preparation is, yes, study, learn what has to get done, learn how other people have done it, who's successful, who isn't, but also test. I learned this from Sam, so I'm going to try it out for myself and see if it works.
Yeah,
That's
that's
part of the
true.
prep work. You need to actually do the things as well. Execution over planning. That's another thing I say. Like, you need to figure out your plan, do the plan, see the results, and then reassess, repeat the process.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Because that's the time that you can use to fine tune that process.
Yep.
You can see like, okay, this is what we have going on. I mean, it's so interesting because I'm even learning a lot more about this in the construction world. Whenever we start a new scope of work, a lot of times we have what's called mock-ups. And a mock-up, for those of you who don't know, is when you first apply, whatever it is that you're doing, and it's just pretty much a sample. It's just a sample. It's for you to look at what it will look like or potentially look like. And it's your chance to evaluate and be like, okay, this is what needs to be tweaked. This might be a little off. Okay, you know what? Let's do this a little bit differently. All right, cool. We got a plan moving forward. Boom. But you were able to see um, and catch certain mistakes that may have been critical earlier on, where it won't have as great of an effect on you, and it won't have as great of a negative impact on you. And then you're like, okay, cool. I'm able to do this differently. Now we're cooking with bacon.
Yeah.
Now we're getting
Yeah.
ready to get
And
it
and the
rolling.
cool thing, by the way, cooking with bacon, I every day recommend it. Breakfast in the morning. Yes. But the cool thing that you mentioned that I don't think that many people notice is that you are highlighting the mistakes. You are failing fast to move forward. You're failing
Yeah.
forward. And that's the biggest thing I'm learning is that if I make a mistake, good. I want to make it as soon as possible so I can learn and fix it.
Yeah.
Like like it's no longer, oh, I made a mistake, oh, I'm an idiot, I'm bad. No, it's like, oh, I made a mistake, it's not working, so I need to readjust it and see if it'll work
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yep.
And that's the like the biggest mind thing as well. Like just constant mind explosions in my head every time I'm learning as I go as a small business owner. But that part too is that you like mistakes are going to happen, but you cannot take mistakes personally. I
Yeah.
can't. If I take all my mistakes personally, which I do, like the other day, I received $500 worth of garments for my customers, right? Before I mail them out. Each and every single one of those garments were defective.
Oh man.
And all of my customers have been waiting already for their order. It's already past the due date of the fulfillment. I tell them it'll be fulfilled within 2 weeks. It's already on the third week. So at that moment, a customer is 3 weeks behind. They haven't received their order. And I have to let them know, hey, your order's messed up and it's going to be delayed even more. I don't even know what the time frame is because I have to send it back to the warehouse and get that whole process going. So in that moment, I took it personally. I was like, fuck, dude, this fucking sucks. But then after 2 minutes, all right, let's get grounded again. We what do we have in control of? Like you mentioned earlier, it's like, okay, well, I'm in control of sending these products back to the warehouse and telling them they have to reprint it. I'm in control of communicating with my customers to let them know what's going on. I'm in control of accepting responsibility for the situation that is occurring. I'm also in control of making sure it never happens again in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I have like construction examples for days for these things. This is what like it's true, and it's what I'm realizing. Even with our schedule, even with the scope of work that I'm managing, there's a lot of things that go wrong, a lot of things that we plan to happen to get done and to be successful, and it's ever changing. The world of construction is ever changing. I'm like, oh man, wow, that failed. Okay, well, we got to keep moving, got to keep pushing. Okay, what did I learn from this mistake? How can I better plan this out? Maybe instead of saying we're going to get this done in 2 days, maybe I can under promise and over deliver. Maybe I say, okay, you know what? We're going to knock this out in 4 days. And I push and push and push, and we get it done in 3. Now we're ahead of the schedule because we planned it out to take a little longer than what it actually was going to take. And it actually worked out. Everybody's a little happier. But going back to the mistake part that you were saying that you made, honestly, the fact that you said, you know what, let me just keep pushing, that's the key example right there. I always tell people, I'm like, let your successes and your failures, both of them, be short-lived. Both of them need to be short-lived. Don't get caught up in the hype when you're winning, and don't be caught down in the dumps when you're losing or failing, because all of it is just it's a learning opportunity. And a lot of times when we're winning, I notice, maybe we're ahead of schedule, maybe we're early, maybe we feel like we've gotten to a point where, all right, cool, I'm ahead of the game. And then that's when we tend to fall into the habit of, all right, let me chill now. That's where you make a mistake.
Yep.
That is not the time to chill. That is actually the time to continue to build momentum and to keep going. And that's what I'm also learning in this world that I'm in construction management. We're ahead of schedule as far as the project is concerned. We're rocking and rolling. We're doing great things. But even though we're ahead of schedule, we're pushing and grinding. I'm super tired every single day to keep being ahead of schedule. Because here's the thing. Something can pop up that will delay your schedule. And if you're already ahead, by the time you're able to restart, you might still be back on track. But if you are always just on par with schedule, when you get delayed, now you're set back a little bit, and now you're trying to recover. And what you want to do is always have that leg up. It's kind of like with finances. I always tell people, hey, don't live over your means. Don't live at your means. I always say live beneath your means, because as much as possible, obviously. The reason why I say that is because there might be a time where you need some emergency money. You need something. And at those moments, if you're living beneath your means, where you have a lot of that money coming and going to maybe some savings or whatever it is, you're not as crunched. You're like, okay, I can still make some magic happen. And so that's the mindset that I try to get people into, which is don't slack once you're ahead. Once you're ahead, that's your opportunity to continue to keep going. Because if the reverse was true, where you were behind. You would wish that you had that leeway. So just keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's going to help continue to get you better. Same thing with mistakes. Don't dwell on those. Let those be short-lived. Keep pushing. That mistake was a learning opportunity. You probably just learned from that experience, and you might now be able to do things better than how you would have done it if you didn't fail in that one aspect. There's times where people seem to be doing okay, and so there's no process improvement because they feel like what they have already works. But sometimes when you make a mistake and you learn from it, you're able to improve your process even better than if it was just doing okay. Like you're able to just like really hone in and be like, okay, this is where I can do this better. I can prioritize better. I can execute better. Okay, let me get with so-and-so. This will happen. And it'll take you to the whole next level. Michael Jordan, basketball, we all think about how many rings he has, but he always talks about how it was the failures that he had that made him so great. It wasn't the championships.
And it's funny you brought him up because the entire time you were talking, I thought of him. And I thought of his athletic trainer, Tim Grover, I think his name is. So Tim Grover has a story that after Michael Jordan would win a ring, what he would tell Tim Grover is, "I'll see you on Monday."
See?
Same time Monday.
See?
Which is 4:30 in the morning.
And that's really what it's all about. The successes have to be short-lived. It just has to be, because you're not done yet. You're not at your end goal. That was just one win along the way. That was one short-term goal en route to your long-term end goal.
And you should always be blissfully dissatisfied. You know, Ed Milet says it all the time, and I 100, 200, 300% agree. When you're about to accomplish or realize your goal, realize your dream, you need to make sure there's another dream further than that current dream. Like if say that my sales goal is 2,000 t-shirts, if I'm at 1950 shirts sold, I know I'm going to hit those next 50 shirts. I know it's going to happen. So I need to be like, all right, what's my next goal after 2,000?
Yeah.
Like if I don't have that, then there's nothing driving me forward. There's no purpose. There's no more reason for me to continue working hard.
It's true. That is true. And that's the funny thing about a lot of successes like that people have, like the Michael Jordans or the LeBron James or anybody who you saw just continue to push even after they had a win. You could tell that they had more goals way after that because of how they executed immediately after. A lot of times when you see their successes, you could see that although everyone else is making it a big deal, it was like literally one part of their plan that was just supposed to happen. Yep. Like that was supposed to happen for them. Mm-hmm. It was like, okay, I'm here, but I was supposed to be here. This just means that I'm following the path that I had already set out. That's all that means.
Yeah.
Anything less, it would be like, okay, like I didn't meet what I was supposed to meet. It wasn't like this huge surprise. It was like, okay, cool, check. But that means that they planned it out. Everything was intentional.
Yeah.
They knew what they were going to do.
Like even another example, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. When he won his 5th ring, like the reporter's like, so like you're so-and-so age, when are you going to consider retiring? He's like, when I get the 6th one. Like he already had his plan to get his 6th one. Unfortunately, shit didn't work out. But like that's his mindset. Like you're saying, it's like he already had something lined up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like the 5th ring was just part of it.
Exactly. It was just part. Like it was critical path. How can you get to 6 unless you get 1 and then 2, 3, 4, and 5? The end goal is 6, but first I have to do this today. That's why every time like I would see LeBron get interviewed and they'd be like, oh yeah, what about do you think that you guys are gonna end up winning. You know, if you go to a game 7, he's like, I don't know, we're on game 2. I'm focused on
Yeah.
this one.
That's
Like
all,
we
that's all
have
the
to win
great
this one.
all the great players, whatever sport you're in.
Yeah,
They're like, why are we even talking about that game? It's not even here yet.
it's
Like,
not even here yet. Like,
Bill Belichick on to next week. On
yeah,
like like have you heard of that little meme
no,
he has? When they're on their winning streak, or even when they were losing a couple games, the interviewers would always be like, "So what do you think about the big rivals like the Broncos or whatever?" He's like, "I don't know. We're on to next week. Next week's opponents who I'm looking at right
exactly,
now. I'm not
exactly,
even looking at our big rival that you media people want to blow up.
right,
We're focused on the next opponent. No one else.
right. That's my big rival. The next opponent.
Yeah,
That's my big rival.
that's who I'm gonna defeat. Like
Yeah,
that's the next goal I have.
exactly. And that's really how it has to be played. Because if you continue to think about what's next and next and next and next and next and next, you'll eventually suffer from paralysis by overanalysis. You're just not making any moves whatsoever. You're not preparing for what's right now because you're so caught up in what hasn't happened, what could potentially happen, what should happen, what might happen. Like you're just so caught up in what just is not here. Like, what about what's here? That's critical path. That's the immediate need. That's the immediate. I need this right now in order to be able to make next year happen. I need to do right now. And that requires grinding against myself right now rather than me taking it easy or just getting caught up in the, what's happening next time? No, right now. You got to push yourself for right now and just let that consume your focus.
Yeah.
Right now is my focus. Right now, once
And,
you have your
yeah.
plan.
And you know what happens to those, like, example, again, sports analogy, you see it all the time. A football team is looking at, their big rival in 2 weeks, but this week's opponent is, the Browns, easy peasy,
Yeah.
talking smack on the Browns. And the next thing you know, they lose to
They
the
lose.
weakest
They,
team because they're not focused on their immediate need.
yeah. That's how it happens. It's like whatever has your attention, that's what's going to have your efforts. And if that easy team that's right now doesn't have my attention, my effort isn't going to be there to win. I'm going to lose. I'm going to
Because
lose.
you
I
know
took it
why?
for
Because
granted.
that team, that losing, that underdog team, they're 200% focused on kicking your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
That's what
don't
they
care
are.
about the next week. They're
Yeah.
focused like, fuck, dude, we gotta fucking win a game this week.
A game. Right. Or else there won't be any playoffs. There won't be any championship. Like we are in the position where every single game counts.
And this
They're
is
literally,
and this is why people love underdogs.
yeah.
This is why, like, whatever if you're a baseball fan, you don't like the Nationals. Well, they went from wild card elimination game. They're the oldest team in the league, and they're fighting for each single game, each single series. And every week, people think they're gonna lose. Every week, they're the underdog, but because
Mm-hmm.
they're just focused on what's this game that we're on right now.
Yep.
Same with football. Same with basketball. It's the ones who are usually from the wild cards are usually the hardest teams to beat.
Yeah. Because they have nothing to lose. No, everyone's counted them out. There's nothing, like I don't have anything to prove to anybody else. This is for me. I need to do this.
Yeah.
I'm locked in. I'm honed in because this is what I have to do.
And then the teams that have that 1 week off because they're not in the wild card, like everyone's like, oh yeah, they might get knocked out. They haven't played in a week. Let's see if they're still gonna be good.
Yeah.
That week off, coaches hate that. Players hate that because they know they're gonna get rusty in that week off.
Yeah.
They know they're not gonna be battle tested. They know that they're being forced not to grind
Yeah.
and they're losing an
Exactly.
edge.
Yeah. Honestly, like time off is cool sometimes. Like don't get it twisted. Like rest is necessary. You need to be able to recover. That is a necessary part of being productive. But sometimes too much rest, too much time off
Yeah.
will just slow you down from the grind. Like the grind is all about consistency, momentum, just pushing, every single day, even when it feels like it's time, like, okay, I can take a break now. It's, yeah, I just want to take it easy. Like, that's what the grind goes against. The grind goes against that belief of taking it easy. That's what the grind does. The grind says, actually, no, easy is my enemy.
Yeah. And actually,
Yeah.
the grind is having a scheduled moment to do whatever the fuck you want, which quote unquote taking it easy. But in that moment of doing that, of that scheduled time off, that's actually not taking it easy, because that the people who are grinding are usually the most appreciative of that time. So whatever
Mm.
activity they choose to do in that free time, they're gonna go all in. Like, for
Yeah.
example, me, when I let myself read a book, I'm like, nothing else is gonna happen today. Like, after this podcast, the only thing that's gonna happen for me and my business is me reading, relaxing, doing whatever I want. Because I know tomorrow I'm gonna schedule out everything that's gonna happen next week.
Yeah.
So I've already set it. I've already set my time off today. After this call, my time off. Nothing from Realize Your Lifestyle. I had one post go out this morning. That's it.
Mm. See?
Because like you said, you need to recover. This
Mm-hmm.
is my recovery.
And like you said, it's interesting. You scheduled it. It's intentional. You're choosing to do it. It's that relaxation is not controlling you. You're controlling that relaxation time. Like, you're saying, okay, this is when I shall do this, as opposed to just all day
Yeah.
is what has me.
Yeah.
Oh,
But don't be a
just go ahead.
robot. Don't be a robot. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
being like, okay, Saturday after my mindset recording podcast with I messed up the whole mindset podcast thingy. Saturday after I record a podcast with Sam is gonna be my time off.
Right.
That's all I did. Whatever I do in that time off, I don't know, because I'm not a robot. I need to allow my mood and my feelings to dictate what I'm gonna do in my time off.
Yep.
But when I choose an activity, like, I already know I'm a bookworm. I am a reading addict. I already know I'm gonna end up reading today. But
Mm-hmm.
when I get to that reading time, I'm gonna appreciate the shit out of it. And this is also, you can see it on my social media posts. Every weekend, if you're watching my Instagram stories, it's like back to back to back to back of TikTok stupid videos. It's scheduled. Like, I just like, all right, I want to watch TikTok stuff and share the quirkiness that I enjoy, versus all the serious motivation, the fitness first form, the dance on the eggs, the Realize Your Lifestyle, the mindset podcast. Like, towards the end of the week, I plan to just, all right, I'm just gonna share stupid stuff that I like.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to be human.
Yeah.
You got to be human at a certain point. Like, yeah, like the grind is something that you want to continue to be involved in, but it can't also just control your life as well. Like, everything you have to be in control of as much as you can, So, I mean, I'm with you, man. You need that time to just be human, relax, and it makes you appreciate everything else better. It's all about balance, really. It's balance,
Counterbalance. I'm gonna say counterbalance.
counterbalance. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
I learned that in a book. It's called the book is called The One Thing by Gary Keller. There's no such thing as balance. Like, maybe in the
Mm.
long run there is, like, if you say you're doing 12 hours of work every day and you're not getting that much time with, relationships or personal stuff, like, you're overbalancing on one area. So what you do is, the next day or maybe later on that week, you're going to counterbalance it to bring it back to the other side. So it's not that you're balancing at any given moment. It's that one time you're heavier on one weight, and then the next time you're counterbalancing it by going heavy on the other weight.
Mm.
So that's like, when I say I schedule my time off, is that when I have my time off, I am going to go full on towards relaxation and recreation, and I am going to counterbalance all the hard work of productivity, all the quote unquote stuff that's responsibilities. I'm going to counterbalance them.
Yeah, that's good. That's gold right there.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's from the one thing by Gary Keller. Super good book. We talked about in the last podcast. It's dope, dude.
Yeah, the one thing, and that's the putting your attention on one thing,
Yeah,
focusing on.
everything's based on one thing. what's the one thing I need to do today to help me towards my goal? What is the one thing that I want? That's my goal. What is the one thing I have to do tomorrow? But for me to do tomorrow, what has to get done today? So it's a mindset thing. It's like, when we're talking about grinding against yourself, the one thing I have to do right now is not be lazy.
Right.
The one thing I have to do right now is create my critical tasks list. And then after that, what's the one thing I have to do after that? All right. Do this task. Only do this task. That's my interpretation of the one thing. It's getting things to a smaller level or small bite size, so it doesn't seem like it's a big ass effort. It's huge productivity and small effort.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And that's honestly what we've been talking about today. You
Yeah.
gotta put your attention on that one thing. What's the immediate need, dude? It's gold. And you'll find, like, when you listen to us, like, a lot of our topics are like interconnected, but it's because it doesn't change. That's what is going to continue to help you push. And sometimes you just need that constant reminder. Well, actually, we all do. Like, that's what keeps you grounded. That's what makes the momentum just continue to grow. You just got to continue to grind and have that focus on that one thing, knowing that that's what's going to get you to the end goal. Man,
Yeah,
I don't know,
bro.
man.
I've had a good time talking about this. Like I feel like I already said my piece. Like if I say anything else, we're gonna go on a long rabbit hole of
Yeah,
tangents.
no, I agree with you, man. No, I agree. I think this was a good one today.
Yeah,
It was to the point.
yeah. And I appreciate you rocking one of my shirts, dude. It looks good
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
so. I put it on. I was like, I wasn't gonna tell you. I'll let everybody see,
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I am also wearing mine. So, and the one thing I know that we need to do with our podcast is put stuff on visual. I tried to do it
Yeah.
for the last episode, but we were having technical issues. This week we should be good. And so, what's the one thing I got to do is put this out on our YouTube page, create a YouTube page, and then also from there I need to share the video with you so you can share it on your own stuff. Share the video.
Yeah, that's
Have
what
the
I
video
need to
on
get
the
better at. That's the one thing I need to get better at, putting out content. And I always, that's where I fail. I fail so much at it. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta grind against myself and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then so in that instance, you need to find out why you feel that way. Why do you feel that you got to push it out, but then you're not? What is stopping you? What's your limiter? Like is it because you're afraid of failing? We already talked about it. Fell forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I even said it. Like I've never had as much engagement with so many people until just the last 6 weeks because
Yeah.
I've been so consistent with it. So
I bet it feels amazing.
it feels cool. It feels dope that people are paying attention, but at the same time, it's like, all right, there's a sense of responsibility that comes with it because I know that what I'm putting out there, people are paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may not even like, comment, or engage with the post, but then I know they're watching.
You're watching. It's true.
Because so often I'll get people like they're like, bro, I've been watching you talk about fitness and first form for a year now.
Wow.
And it's like, you never even once commented on it, bro, or even like DM me or girl. And now you want to ask me for help. And that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
You're paying attention. You don't know who's paying attention.
Yeah. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, you can't take the likes and the comments and the shares as a complete, I guess a complete way of identifying exactly who is observing you. Like, it's just not, I scroll past posts all the time. Like, everybody does, and not engaging in someone's post doesn't mean that you didn't like what they said or whatever. Sometimes it's just oh, okay, wow, and then you just moved on.
Yeah, it's
But it
like
happens a lot.
like I've thought about it too. It's like, all right, I have 2,000 friends on Facebook since I've been on Facebook. These are friends from all the way from high school, middle school until now. And I'm like, do you really like people? I'm like, do you expect me to message or pay attention to each person's life every day?
Everything.
Not like maybe it's possible for some people. I'm not gonna do that. you know,
At all.
like it'd be nice
At
for me
all.
to know what my fifth grade, friend is doing, where we used to walk to school every morning. It'd be nice. I want to see what's going on, but I can't do that for 2,000 people.
Can't, bro. I can't. And if I can, that means I'm doing nothing to further my agenda.
Exactly. Help yourself first to help other people.
Right. Right. It's funny. Because sometimes people ask me if I saw what they posted, and I was like, I didn't, because I was just so busy. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just don't see it,
But then there's going to be a random moment when you're like, I wonder how Sam's doing. And because we are friends, you're going to click on my shit. And then you're like, oh,
It's true.
damn, he's doing all of this. That's what's up. Maybe I'll comment and I'll like. And like, oh, damn, this boy came out with a new album. All right, how do I cop one? Tom McDonald. Look at Tom McDonald. That boy, self distributing artist, no manager, no PR, no labels. It's just him and his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You study what he does, and you'll be like, damn. I don't care what you think about his music, but you study the way that he creates relationships with other people, the way that he works, and he makes sure he stays productive towards his goals. The recipe is there. There's no way he would not have succeeded.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's just there's no way he would not have succeeded. Like, that's such a powerful statement, because some people think it's just luck, but then it's like, no, because of the efforts that were put in, there is no way he would not have succeeded.
Yeah, bro. Like friggin', if I just do a quick study of him, so he got famous because he put out a song that went viral, right? I don't know which song, but it went viral. Do you think that would have happened if he was not putting music out? If he was not putting music videos out? No. So he knew that he needs to get attention. So what do you have to do to get attention? What's the one thing you got to do as a musical artist to get attention? Put music out there. Right? And then from there, he's like, okay, I got attention. What's the one thing I want to do now? Well, I want to run my own business. I want to run my own artist name. I want to own everything. Okay. So that means you need to pay for everything. You need to make sales for everything. And now, every time he comes out with a video, yada, 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 this song's going to be in this album. Here's a link to buy it. Boom. It's like, everything is like it's like a trail. You just see where the trail is going. Like, dropped 2 albums like a week ago or 2 weeks ago on the same day. But leading up to that album drop, he put out a music video. Leading up to the album drop, he talked about the album. Leading up to the album drop, he told people to sign up for a newsletter so he could give them an update when it comes out. Leading up to the album drop, he put out 40 different music videos in previous 4 years to get your attention. So that when that album drops, you're going to buy it or you're going to know about it.
It was that prep work.
Yep. And the entire time, testing, seeing what works, what songs are people really feeling, what kind of content should he put out to get people's attention, how are people relating to him as an individual, not as an artist, but as a person. All of that work, dude. If you study just Tom McDonald, you'll be like, dude, there's no way he would not have been able to hit.
Dang.
And just do that with everybody.
Everybody who's succeeding that you
Yeah.
admire, study how they did it.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're saying that, but I guarantee you there are people who are studying you and I.
Mm,
And that goes back to people are watching, dude.
people are watching.
And
That's true.
what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to pay it forward. You know? All right, you're studying me. You see what I'm putting out. You're seeing what's going on with me. Hopefully that'll help you with what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
If you pay attention.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're talking right, bro. 100%. Whew. Dang.
I just got hyped, bro.
No, I know. I'm not gonna even follow that with anything. I'm just here. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, this is gold.
Yeah. And you know, I think I'll leave it at that. Like I'm just hyped right now. And I want to leave if you're hyped like me, I just want to leave you with that. So you want to do closing statements?
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mindset Rebooted. If you found value out of what you just heard today, you can follow Romi Sunga, and you can follow him on all platforms. All you gotta do is type in Romi Sunga. And you can go to romisunga.com. But I really mean that. Social media, he's Romi Sunga on all social media platforms. And romisunga.com, realize your lifestyle brand. That's what it's all about. Exactly what we spoke about today. These fire t-shirts that you see is wearing some of his product right there, and he has more to come. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at haye.haye. That's HEY.HAYE. You can follow me on Facebook, Sam One Time Real Smooth Haye. That's a mouthful right there, but I guarantee you can still find me. Just replay this or just type in Sam Haye. You'll find me. You can follow me on YouTube at the official Sam Haye, and Mindset Rebooted. You can follow us on Instagram, Mindset Rebooted, Mindset_Rebooted specifically. And we're going to have a YouTube page where you're going to find our video content as well. You can follow us on all streaming platforms, Mindset Rebooted. I mean, just simple for you. And you can check out our very cool podcast. We have guests that come on that we speak to. And sometimes we do one-on-one sessions, just like you just saw just now. And in either case, it's a lot of value added. So just continue to tune in, and we hope to continue to deliver great content to you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right and you still go with it, then that is on you.